Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we are diving deep into the topic of immense importance of industrial operations. The impact of maintenance practices on safety instrumented systems or SIS and their crucial safety instrumented functions SIFs. Before we begin, a quick but important note. This video is independent educational piece drawing on insights from publicly available expert discussions on industrial safety practices. It is solely derived from my own experience and understanding. Our aim is solely to share valuable knowledge to enhance understanding of critical safety concepts. You see, while we invest heavily in designing robust safety systems, their real world effectiveness hinges significantly on how they are maintained. Improper maintenance can severely degrade safety performance, leading to their consequences. We will explore four critical areas. First, how poor site safety culture impacts SIS and SIF performance. Second, what truly constitutes the right approach to maintenance. Third, the matrices you can use to track your progress. And finally, how to assess your company's current safety standing. This isn't just about cutting corners, it's deeply ingrained in a company's ethos, often stemming directly from top leadership. If a company board primarily focus on the bottom line and keeping stakeholders happy, consistently minimizing cost, it can profoundly undermine efforts to maintain critical safety systems. Imagine this scenario. You approach to the management about replacing device nearing their end of useful life and refurbishing wells that are still technically functioning. The common pushback might be, have they failed yet? If the answer is no, the follow up is often, then why do we need to do that? This is run to fail policy. Even for crucial safety instrumented system equipment is unfortunately still prevalent in some industries. But remember, the SIS is our last line of automatic defense. If it is not properly maintained, it simply will not operate when required. The consequences are stark. An ill-maintained SIS or SIF is prone to failing on demand. This is the absolute worst outcome, as these systems are designed to activate precisely when all other protective layers have failed. We have frequently see the increase of unwanted trips, which not only disturb operation but incur significant cost. For example, tripping a refinery can mean a loss of significant daily production. Not to mention the fact that restarting plant is one of the highest risk activities you can undertake. Ultimately, improper maintenance significantly increase the likelihood of serious incident, major accidents, injuries, or even fatalities. It's akin to play Russian roulette if you are not consistently following proper maintenance for our SIS and SIFs. It is crucial to understand that IEC 61511 standard, which guides functional safety, is a performance based, not prospective. This means it outlines what needs to be achieved. But the exact method of achievements are left to the user. This flexibility, however, demands vigilance and a means to precisely measure performance. So, what is the right approach? It's fundamentally start with acknowledging that the operational and maintenance phase constitutes a staggering 90 to 95% of a SIS entire life. You can design the perfect system, but if operations and maintenance are neglected, its critical risk reduction capabilities will rapidly degrade. A cornerstone of the right approach is mechanical integrity and diligent maintenance and repair. This means no more simply checking the box without truly performing all the necessary repair. A truly effective approach hinges on what we call three P's: people, procedure, and paperwork. First, people. Are your personnel properly trained and demonstrably competent? This emphasis on international standard like IEC 61511, particularly in 2016 edition, places for greater importance are clearly defined roles, responsibilities, and ensuring robust competencies. People leave, new people join the team, ensuring continuous training and maintaining their level of knowledge is and skill is paramount. Second, procedures. Do you have meticulously written procedures that are crucially actually being followed? Many catastrophic incidents have occurred specifically because startup and maintenance procedure were violated. If the procedure isn't being followed, it needs to be either immediately changed to reflect current reality and entirely removed. And third, the paperwork. Is there a robust paper trail and reliable documentation system to demonstrate that the planned activities are being consistently executed? This documentation is absolutely crucial for showing compliance and for the accurately tracking performance over the time. Furthermore, ensuring the safety requirement specification is readily available and understood by the operations and the maintenance personnel is critical. This document explicitly outlines exactly what the SIS and SIF are designed to do. Without it, how can maintenance be performed correctly and effectively? And critically, don't overlook that the safety manual provided by the equipment manufacturer. This manual contains vital installation information, recommended proof tests to achieve specific diagnostic coverage, and any restriction on use, and precisely requirement to achieve the desired safety integrity level. For example, a device might be advertised as SIL 2 capable, but its manual might clearly specify that two such devices are needed in a particular configuration for a true SIL 2 application, not just one. Proper commissioning and testing and validation are equally vital throughout the system life. For example, if diagnostics in a smart transmitters are not enabled as per the safety manual during installation, your system might be running with a false sense of security, operating without the diagnostic coverage you are taking credit for and for the safety calculations. The safety validation test is essential. It ensures that as designed, installed, and commissioned sys meets the all requirement of the SRS, including critical timing and the correct cells. Finally, proof test procedure must be firmly and placed in accessible. These procedure can originate from the safety manual or can be derived from the extensive operational experience. Importantly, some advanced software tools can even generate these procedures based on the specific equipment you have selected for your SIFs. Crucially, device useful life tracking is paramount. Once a device moves beyond its useful life, it's entered into a wear out phase, where its failure rate becomes highly unpredictable, completely invalidating and calculation based on the constant failure rate during its nominal useful life. Measuring performance is absolutely key to knowing if your safety practices are truly effective. Since the IEC 61511 standard is performance based, you inherently need key performance indicators or KPIs to effectively measure the effectiveness of your SIS and SIF in achieving risk reduction. These KPIs can be broadly categorized into two types: leading and lagging indicators. Leading indicators are forward looking. They provide insight that suggests a potential problem is likely to occur before it actually happens. Some of the examples are lack of regular competency assessment or insufficient training for operations and maintenance personnel. If your people are not adequately trained or their skills are not maintained, future problems are highly likely to arise. Procedures which are not being diligently followed, this is a clear red flag indicating a systematic issue that needs immediate action. Proof testing not being conducted according to the safety requirement specifications, especially if the test intervals are significantly missed. Missing proof test intervals, particularly more than 10%, can rapidly degrade the safety integrity level of your SIFs. Then assessing the actual effectiveness of the proof test. Even If it is written procedure, theoretically offers like 95% of the coverage. If it is too complex or time consuming to execute properly, it might not be followed correctly in practice. Monitoring repair and restore time against the mean time to restore defined in the SRS. Consistent deviation from these defined times signal potentially underlying issues. Conversely, lagging indicators tell us what has already occurred. These are retrospective measurements that indicates past failures and problems. Some of the examples includes near misses. These are invaluable warnings that something nearly went wrong, offering crucial learning opportunities. Relief valve activation. Such events are a clear sign that all is not well within the process and warrant immediate investigation. Spurious trip. Frequent unwanted shutdown indicating underlying equipment failures, control system issues, or procedural flaws. Actual incidents and demand on the SIF. Meticulously counting these occurrences and thoroughly investigating their root causes is a paramount. Then we have a failures, both random and the systematic. Proper documentation and accurate classification of failures are absolutely essential for robust analysis and effective revalidation of your safety system. End of life device not being refurbished or replaced, which directly impacts ongoing reliability and safety. Collecting and analyzing this data allows you to compare actual performance against the assumed performance from the originally designed phase. If your current risk reduction factor is found to be inadequate, you may need to revisit your initial safety analysis. Conversely, if you discover over designed situation, you could potentially optimize proof test intervals, thereby saving maintenance cost while still maintaining the desired level of the safety. So how do you truly know where your company stands regarding your safety performance and the maintenance efficacy? Many managers believe that follow good practices, but often they don't necessarily have a robust system for measuring them. One highly effective way to gain this understanding is through a qualitative first pass assessment, such as utilizing a model like a safety site index, which has been developed by expert organizations like Exida. This model, intrinsically based on fundamental concept of IEC 61508, typically involves detailed questionnaires. By answering these questions honestly and thoroughly, you can obtain a clear ranking of your company current safety capabilities. It comprehensively assesses how well maintenance is conducted across different subsystems of your safety instrumented systems, including the sensor subsystems, the logic solver subsystem, and the final elements subsystems. Advanced software tools like Exceda's Excellentia Suite incorporate such model to assist in assisting and improving maintenance practices. The SSI model typically employs five distinct levels, ranging from 0 to 4. Level 4, which is considered as a perfect, this signifies that everything is done precisely on time, strictly according to the all requirements with absolutely nothing being missed. Level 0, which is considered as a bare minimum, at this level, repairs are not always done when actually needed, or they are incomplete, often just a temporary band-aid solution. This level indicates a severe degradation in the safe performance. It is often noting that the typical default, if not explicitly specified by an assessment, is often considered level 2, which is a good. An interesting insight often surfaces when this model is discussed internally. Managers might confidently rate their company at level 4, while the operators and maintenance staff, based on their daily experience, and realistically place at level 2, leading to a vital and often heated internal discussion. This stark difference highlights the immense value of an independent third party analysis or an audit. An external auditor conducts objective interviews and comprehensive assessments, providing an unbiased and accurate view of actual practices on the ground. Beyond formal audits, fostering a learning culture within the organization is paramount. This means being genuinely willing to learn from mistakes, encouraging individual responsibility and ownership among staff. Managers can significantly contribute to this culture by simply walking around to the facility, engaging in informal conversation with staff, and diligently reviewing all audits report to identify negative trends early and address them promptly. Finally, regular functional safety assessment, particularly FSA-4, are essential. While the frequency of this assessment can be defined internally, performing one, for instance, every 5 years, aligning with the process hazard analysis revalidation, or providing invaluable data to feedback into your hazard and risk assessment. This helps to confirm your original assumption about demand rate and the hazard frequencies, ensuring your overall risk reduction remains adequate and effective. In summary, ensuring robust safety and industrial operations, particularly with the safety instrument system and their critical functions, boils down a few critical tenets. Fostering an appropriate safety first culture from top to down, ensuring you have a trained and competent operations and maintenance personnel, and establishing robust operations and maintenance procedures that are not just written procedure but are diligently followed. Tackling and performance with well-defined leading and lagging indicators and conducting regular competency assessments are non-negotiable elements for the continuous improvements. Always ensure that the proof test is done precisely in line with your safety requirement specification and meticulously record all maintenance activities. Tools including specialized softwares can greatly assist in tracking and analyzing performance, documenting failures, and monitoring false trips. Remember, continuous proper maintenance throughout the SIS lifecycle is not just a good practice, it is absolutely essential to prevent potentially catastrophic incidents. The insights shared today are fundamental for any industry striving for operational excellence and robust safety. For expertise in implementing these critical practices, and for deep understanding of instrumentation and control system engineering, functional safety, and alarm management, as well as OT cybersecurity, we highly recommend exploring the services of the Pacific ICS Engineering Limited, based in New Plymouth, Taranaki, New Zealand. We specialize in delivering cutting-edge solutions to enhance industrial safety, reliability, and compliance. Our comprehensive services encompass everything from detailed design and implementation of PLC, DCS, and SCADA to meeting IEC 61511 requirements through thorough SIL assessment, LOPA studies, and rigorous proof testing. We also excel in optimizing alarm system and safeguard critical control system with robust cybersecurity measures in according to IEC 62443 and NIST standard. If you found this discussion insightful and want to deepen your knowledge in industrial safety, process safety, asset integrity, and engineering insights, please like this video. Share it with your friends and most importantly, subscribe to our channel. We regularly release expert-led videos, real-world insight, and engineering masterclass tailored for professionals like you. Hit the notification bell and don't miss what's next. Thanks for watching and stay safe.